Hello, and welcome back to Detective Dig Hunter. As time goes by, shit, I was trying to think of the actual title of this game, but it's so fucking long that I always think about it. I think it's like Memories of the Past. Jesus. That's the one thing about Japanese games. Their titles are always very long, especially when they're like a remake, a redux. It's sort of like I call it the Kingdom Hearts syndrome, where they just pile on name after name on the title to make it sound like something new. But hey, we're back in present day. We just were in the past doing a remembrance of a stolen painting. And this one tends to be a little bit. This episode seems like it's going to be a little bit longer. Rough, 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 rough. I've never been much of a dog person, but even I could tell that there was something agitated about Lenny's barking. What's the matter, boy? He's man-spreading. What the hell? Is this a boy or girl? I've only seen girls wear something like that, but I mean, I'm not up to snuff on my Japanese culture, but he sort of looks like a transsexual Sailor Moon character. There was a boy writhing in agony on the floor, clutching at his chest, probably because his parents made him wear something like that. It was not that I expect. It's not what. It was not what I expected to find. Once I'd gotten over the shock of finding a strange child in my office, I threw down my coat and knelt down next to him. Hey, are you all right?
Help me.
His eyes met mine, and I could see fear in them. Not of me, but whatever was happening to him. The boy reached out to me and collapsed, the last of his energy spent. The sounds in the room were Lenny's agitated panting and kettle drum pounding my own heart. Had I just watched the child die? Oh. Okay, so there is, like, to be continued areas. This is so confusing. I'm so confused. Maybe I'm just talking more. I've been looking forward to a nice glass of scotch and a nice long smoke when I got back to the office. What I got was a strange boy writhing in agony on the floor. He reached out to me, terrified, and then collapsed. File 2, as time goes by.
Good Lord, what happened? Who was the boy?
Perhaps I should take it from here, sir. Well, I suppose that'd only be fair. Besides, I sure could use a smoke about right now.
Then, can you just tell me about the boy, Julia?
Of course, Mr. Xinksly. But perhaps I should start with how I met him. It was at a bar. He bought me a few drinks. Let me see. Ah, yes, Mr. Hunter has just left to visit Mr. Daisano. I was on my back from picking up some things for Lenny. Man, all this flashback's making me dizzy. 1 year earlier, Tripudio. Did I get everything Lenny needs? It's been a long time since I had a dog. I was running through the list of what I just bought in my head as I walked back toward the office. Working in Tripudio means I spend plenty of time walking around the city. Most of the time, it's faster than taking a taxi or bus. I'm not going to keep doing her female voice, so I'm just going to read it like I normally would. I've spent so much time in Tripudio that I didn't even notice the noise and bustle anymore. But that day, something broke through the usual wall of sound and caught my attention. What, are we talking about a Beach Boys album? Because that's nothing but a fucking wall of sound.
It's like, how can we fill every single space with sound? Put a dog barking in there.
Sob. It sounded like a child crying. Pretty much my reaction to any Beach Boys album. I turned around, trying to pinpoint the source of the sound. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're not that bad, but I mean, I appreciate them. I just don't like them. It was a little boy. My mom's husband really likes the Beach Boys. I couldn't help but wonder what a child was doing alone in a place like Tripudio. It wasn't too dangerous during the day, but it was still hardly the kind of place a kid should be by himself. I looked around the street, but couldn't see anybody who looked like they might have lost a kid. Talk. Let's talk to the boy. Are you okay? The sound of my voice startled the boy, and he looked up at me with a small hiccup. Yes? Why were you crying?
I got lost. I was looking for my mom.
You got separated from your mom.
No, my mom never came home.
Huh? Hmm.
So I'm looking for her.
And then he went back to crying. Like a little bitch. His mom hadn't come home. That sounded pretty serious. His mother. How long has your mom been gone?
Since yesterday.
Yesterday. That meant his mom had been gone for 2 days.
Mom, where are you?
He stopped crying, but he was still sniffling a bit, and as I itched my ear, I knew it was just a matter of time before he started again. I couldn't leave him on the street. What was I going to do? I guess we're gonna go to the police. We just can't leave him. Listen, do you want to come with me to see a policeman? A policeman might know where your mom is.
Really?
Uh-huh, I'm positive.
Okay, let's go then.
A policeman might know where your mother is, but she's positive that he'll know. Makes sense. But before we go, can you tell me your name?
My name is Kurt Snyder. What's yours?
Sounds like he's gonna be a future comic book writer.
Kurt Snyder.
My name is Julia Marks. Nice to meet you, Kurt.
Nice to meet you too.
He smiled at him and took his hand. Just as we started off toward the police station, I heard a familiar voice behind me. This image looks like she had some real serious collagen injections, while the other one, she just looks kind of plain Jane. Hey, look who's here. I turned around to find myself face to face with Mr. Lewis. What did I want to do? Let's get this hunk of man meat a look. Mr. Lewis? He was a detective at King's department. Have we met Mr. Lewis before? Jake had told me that once that Mr. Xinksly and Mr. Lewis had joined the police the same year as one another. One just looks really rugged, though. King looks really old. Well, hello there, Mrs. Marks. How are you doing? Jake's not giving you a hard time, I hope. Huh? The kid behind you. Who is he? Mr. Lewis gestured at Kurt. He's my child. Lost child. His name is Kurt Snyder. He tells me he's lost. He was here crying alone when I found him a few minutes ago. Alone? Maybe he's in one of those Home Alone movies. Lost in Tripudio. Yes. He came all the way into town looking for his mother. I took a moment to explain the situation to Mr. Lewis. Sounds pretty urgent. Well, I might as well hear what the kid has to say. Are you sure, Mr. Lewis? Aren't you on duty right now? Well, yes, but I can hardly walk away from a poor kid. Just wouldn't sit right with me, you know? Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Kurt and I really appreciate your help. Alright, little guy. How's about you tell me what happened? What did I want to do? Talk. Kurt. We'll go to home. Home. It's over there. Kurt pointed to his left. That direction, huh? Can you be more specific? Is there anything near your house, like a big store or a park? There's a 7-Eleven. Oh, really? Thank heaven. Not like that. Like a Radio Shack or something? Tell me if you see a Radio Shack. I always find myself making that joke. I love that fucking movie. I wasn't really used to dealing with kids. I didn't know if I'd be able to get anything useful out of them. Alright, Kurt. His mother. My mom's name? Kyla Snyder. Mrs. Snyder. What kind of mom is she?
She's warm and smells good. I love my mom, but sometimes she comes home and smells like cigarettes and scotch.
Talk about his mom again? Let's see. Alright, we already saw that. Alright, we don't need to see that anymore.
I love my mom,
Kind of a creepy fucking kid. Anyway, I'm gonna use my stand, Vlad. Alright, yeah, that's what I have to do. I suddenly noticed that since the moment I met Kurt, he hadn't let go of the bag he was carrying. Kurt, could I take a look in your bag? Huh? I'm sorry, I can't let you. Why not?
I can't let anybody see inside it. I'm sorry, sis.
Alright, Kurt. I won't look inside. Can I look at the outside? Sis, huh? Does he have a sister, too?
Sure.
He held up the bag to give me a better look. His name and address were printed on the side of the bag. First Street in Pergo. Did you come all the way here from home?
Uh-huh. I was walking to the station, but I got lost.
Alright, how about your dad, dude? Let's see. How about his dad? I don't know why. My computer's chugging. Dad.
Dad is far away.
Far away? What do you mean?
I don't know.
Kurt tried desperately to find something interesting to look at on the sidewalk. Looked like his dad was a sensitive subject. Hey kid, do you have any brothers or sisters or relatives?
I don't have brothers or sisters, and what's relatives?
Like a grandpa or grandma or an aunt or uncle? Why did he say sis though? Was he referring to Miss Marks? Julia?
No, I don't have any of those.
Is that right? I think I get the picture. Sounds pretty complicated. Yes. I'd like to talk to Mr. Hunter. He should be able to find Kurt's mother easily. Gotta admit, that fella does seem to have a knack for finding people. Tell you what, as soon as I'm finished with the case I'm on, which will be about till next year, I'll see if I can give you a hand. The fellows who handle missing persons are swamped 24/7. I don't think they'd be much help to you anyways. Thank you so much, Mr. Lewis. I really appreciate your help. You sound like you're very busy. Well, I suppose you could say that. Somebody ran off with a lady's purse, and I'm trying to catch him. Once I got that wrapped up, I'll see what I can give you a hand. Wow, okay. A lady's purse is not more important than a lost child. I'm sorry to tell you this. In most cases, you'll never find that lady's purse ever again. It's a lost cause. Anyway, I'll see if I can get the guys in child protection to take custody of this kid for the time being. Wow, someone really didn't know how to write English at that moment. Thank you, Mr. Lewis. All right then, son. Looks like you'll be coming with me, okay?
What about Sis?
Kurt looked up at me anxiously.
No, I want to stay with my big sister.
Wow, this kid's got attachment issues. He grabbed onto my hand and looked up at me with eyes full of tears. Kurt? I think it'd be insensitive. Let's hold his hand. I gave Kurt's hand a squeeze.
Sis, say Kurt, do you want to come to my place? Can I?
Hey, I'm sorry, Mr. Lewis, but I just don't feel right abandoning him. I'll take care of him until I can find his mother. But Miss Marks...
Sis, are you sure? You'll stay with me?
Yes, I'm sure. For the first time since I met him, Kurt looked like he wasn't about to cry.
Thank you, Sis.
Shut the fuck up, you little bitch! Oh, sorry. Oh boy. Well, I guess now I know why Jake drinks so much. Fine, he can stay at your place. I'll talk to the guys at the station and try to get them to go along with it. I appreciate it, Mr. Lewis. It's not like you gave me much of a choice. You're stubborn as someone else I could mention. Oh, I'm not as stubborn as Mr. Hunter. Oh, no, I doubt that. Rumor has it, you out-stubborn him. Oh, my. Perhaps Mr. Xinksly and I need to have a little talk. Oh, shit, she's gonna go all bobbing on him. Hey, you go easy on the old man, alright? I gotta say, Miss Marks, Jake's lucky to have a gal like you washing his back. Mr. Lewis gave me a wry smile and offered us a ride back to the police station. Kurt and I filled out some police paperwork and then headed back to the office, ready to start looking for his mother.
Doggy, it's a doggy.
The moment Kurt stepped into the office, it was love at first sight. He was standing next to Lenny before I had time to blink. Hopefully he's good with kids.
Wow, you're big. You're a lot bigger than me.
You aren't scared of Lenny?
No, he's so cute.
Is your name Lenny? Nice to meet you, Lenny. Kurt gave Lenny a scratch behind his ears and started petting him. Lenny turned his head to gaze at Kurt over his shoulder. I could almost see the gears turning in the doggy's brain. He was an arrogant dog, all right, but he couldn't hide all of his excitement at being petted. The tail thumping against the floor of the office gave him away. It seemed like Mr. Hunter was the only person he didn't like. Maybe they were just too much alike. As I watched Lenny and Kurt, it dawned on me that Mr. Hunter wasn't back yet. I guess we could talk to Kurt. So, Kurt, what did you do while your mom was gone?
I just stayed at home and waited for Mom to come back.
Were there any phone calls?
I think there was one from Nicky.
Nicky?
Nicky works with my mom. He was calling to see if she was home.
Really? Do you know how we can get in touch with him? Dude, he's wearing a purse and everything. I think this was supposed to be a little girl, to be honest with you. And I think whoever translated it just thought since they had short hair, it was a boy.
I don't know. I'm sorry, sis.
Oh, that's okay, Kurt. It's not a big deal. Were there any other phone calls?
No, just Nicky and nobody came to the apartment either. I was scared. I tried to call Mom, but she didn't pick up.
Can we try calling your mom? What number did you call your mom at, Kurt? Her work?
No, I called her cell phone.
Cell phone? Do you remember your mom's cell phone, Kurt?
I call her a lot.
I'm sure you do. You must like her a lot. Do you think you could tell me the number?
Sure, but I don't think you're having any luck. She sold it.
Why did your mom sell her cell phone?
It said so on the box.
Kurt spent a moment in thought, and then recited the entire number in a single breath. Good job, Kurt. That's an awfully big number to memorize. All right, let's call. I dialed the number Kurt had given me and put the phone to my head. The phone began to ring. Snake! And then stopped. Had she picked up? Hello? My name is Julian Marks. I'd like to talk to you about your son. With a click, the call was over, and all I could hear was the dial tone. Whoever had been on the other end hadn't said a thing. What did I want to do? Let's go to the apartment. I wasn't quite ready to leave. What do I do here? Oh, is this... I ran my fingers through my hair. Why had she hung up? I'd even mentioned Kurt's name. Can we... Okay. I guess let's talk to... Sis, what's wrong? Were you able to talk to my mom? Uh-huh. I tried my best to force a smile. I couldn't bear to tell him the truth. I dialed the number again. The phone is temporarily unavailable. Please try again later. I dialed the same number, hadn't I? Had the phone been turned off? Okay. I guess I had to try it twice. Man, I don't know why. My frame rate's fucking tanking. Call. Tell him about the phone. Tell him about the phone call? I didn't know how I could even begin to explain it to Kurt. Sis? Huh? What is it, Kurt?
I have to go now.
Oh.
Can I use the bathroom? I can't hold it any longer.
Oh my. The bathroom is just down the hall. Can you go alone?
Yeah, thanks.
Kurt scuttled off to the bathroom, trying to move as fast as he could without losing his dignity. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Something about the way he trotted off just made me chuckle. I stand up when I pee. Ain't nobody bothering me.
Are you sitting down? Are you making brown? Are you making iced tea?
I didn't know if I could wait that long. Kurt needed his mother back, and soon. For the time being, I was going to have to look for her on my own. First, I needed some clues. I had to figure out where Mrs. Snyder was. Where was I going to start? We're going to visit the apartment. I still didn't know much about Kurt and his mother. There might be something at their apartment that could point me in the right direction. But what about Kurt? Sis? Oh, Kurt, did everything go all right in the bathroom?
Yes, but,
What's the matter?
I got something on the toilet and on the floor. Damn, he's like a spigot.
Oh my.
I'm sorry, sis.
Oh, okay. Oh, Kurt. It's okay. It's nothing to worry about. I'm used to it with Mr. Hunter. But maybe I should have gone with you,
No, I'm not a baby anymore.
The little guy was beet red and getting brighter by the minute. Alright. Well, I'll just go and clean it up then.
Okay. I'm really sorry, sis. I'll be careful next time.
Good. After I finished up in the bathroom, I went back out into the office. What did I want to do? Well, let's talk to Kurt again. Tell him he's a bad boy, no one pees besides him.
Kurt? What is it, sis?
I think I'd like to go visit your apartment.
You're going out, sis? Alright, I'll just stay here and play with Lenny.
Are you going to be all by yourself?
I won't be by myself, sis. Lenny's here. Alright, Lenny?
Oh, how silly of me, of course. Well, you should be sure to take good care of Kurt then, Lenny.
He will.
Okay. Alright. Keys.
Kurt, may I please borrow the keys to your apartment?
Sure. Kurt dug around in his pocket and finally produced a couple of keys on a slightly dingy key ring.
Thank you.
By the way, did you lock the door when you left your apartment?
Of course. My mom tells me I should always lock the door when I go out.
Is that so?
Then you're a good boy then, aren't you? She must be very proud of you.
Hee hee hee. Alright, let's move. Let's leave this, 7-year-old by himself. Snyder apartment.
Alright, Kurt. I'll be right back, so you can be a good boy and wait for me here.
Uh-huh.
Bye, sis.
You know, Mr. Hunter, I hope he doesn't have to deal with this that often. She's always bringing in, miscreants into the detective agency.
I said goodbye to Kurt and headed off towards Pergo in the Snyder's apartment. Kurt's apartment building was nestled comfortably in the corner of a residential district. It took me a moment to figure out which apartment was his.
She comes back, he's smoking, some cigarettes and drinking some scotch. Alright. Vicinity.
From time to time, I could hear the yells and laughter of kids playing around. I figured there were probably a number of families in the neighborhood.
Door.
A small plaque on the door displayed the apartment number. There was no doubt the apartment I was standing in front of was Kurt's.
Alright, I guess we have to use our purse here and the key. Use it.
I slowly inserted the key into the lock. Just then I heard a noise like someone moving from inside the apartment. There was someone inside.
Uh-oh, this could be dangerous.
Was it Miss Snyder?
Looks like we better be careful.
Well, I didn't want to be rude. I pressed the intercom button. There was no response. The noises from inside stopped. It was looking more and more like whoever was in the apartment was not Mrs. Snyder. Alright, boys, let's go inside. Going in without knowing who was already inside was a bad idea. If the person in the apartment wasn't Miss Snyder, I'd have a feeling they weren't very friendly either. I took a deep breath and composed myself. I could handle this. I inserted the key in the lock and turned.
Oh, snap. Wow, she looks a lot different. She looks a lot more curvier in these little cutscenes.
Wait! The words were barely out of my mouth before the man had shot past me. By the time I spun around to catch him, he was long gone.
You know, I sort of want to make my own visual novel game. I don't know if I can do that on RPG Maker or not. I know there is a separate thing for it. But I don't think it's gonna give me the I sort of want fight scenes and stuff like that in it.
As I stepped inside the apartment, I tried to remember the man's face.
So an RPG Maker might be good. It's got all the options.
Who could have been? Who could have it been? What had he be doing in Mrs. Snyder's apartment? I took a deep breath and stepped through the doorway. The apartment had been ransacked. I could barely find a path through the toppled furniture and scattered books. The man who'd run past me had certainly been passionate. What did I want to do? Well, let's inspect. Around. I made my way through the apartment, doing my best not to disturb any evidence. It was a tiny apartment, just a room and a kitchen.
Wow, there's a fucking slide in here. That's baller.
The kitchen had been left alone, for the most part, but the main room looked like it had been hit by a tornado.
A sharknado.
I had to tell the police about the apartment and the man I'd seen. I dialed the police station, explained the situation in as much detail as I could manage. I was told the team had been dispatched and would arrive within minutes. All I had to do was wait. But it wouldn't hurt to look around a bit before they showed up. Well, let's look what's on the table. Is that his keys or another set of keys? I noticed a glint of metal under the table and bent down to pick it up. Wait, was it? Yes. I hastily pulled out the key I borrowed from Kurt and held it up next to the key I found under the table. They were identical. What kind of key is that, though? They were exactly the same. The machine, the keys, and the keychain. 2 identical keys. Well, if one was the copy of the other, that would make sense. Then had I found Mrs. Snyder's key under the table? Very strange. Very, very strange.
Mrs. Snyder? Since Kurt and Mrs. Snyder were the apartment's only occupants, and I'd taken Kurt's keys, the one under the table had to be Mrs. Snyder's. Kurt had told me he was sure he'd left the door locked the door when he left. But as far as I could tell, the lock hadn't been forced. Had the man I'd seen used Mrs. Snyder's keys to get into the apartment? Then how had he gotten the key from Mrs. Snyder? I made my way through the apartment, doing my best not to disturb any evidence. It was a tiny apartment, just a central room and a kitchen. The kitchen had been left alone, but for the most part, the main room looked like it had been hit by a tornado. Okay, I already looked at that. Phone stand? There were a few things sitting on the phone stand. 2 of them caught my attention, and my address book, and a check register. Address book? If I could get a chance to go through her address book, it could be a real good goldmine of information. I wonder if the police would let me borrow it. Check register. I knew I probably wouldn't be able to go through it once the police had arrived. Somehow I didn't think I would be able to convince them I needed to read it to find Mrs. Snyder. I knew my argument would be pretty weak. Yes, let's check it. There was a chance I might find something that would lead me to Mrs. Snyder. My mind made up, I pulled out a handkerchief to avoid touching the pages directly and began flipping through the register. The previous day was circled. No specific details. Had she planned something? I flipped through the rest of the register when one of the recurring expenses caught my eye. It was labeled as charge for Kurt's meds. Med, that had to mean medicine. But it didn't say what kind. Whatever it was expensive. Kurt hadn't seemed like he was injured. Was he sick? Maybe that's why he was convulsing on the floor. I flipped back through the register, looking for other medicine charges. It was written down every 2 weeks as regular as clockwork. What kind of disease did Kurt have? And maybe it wasn't a good idea to leave him alone. I hoped to find some answers, but so far everything I'd found only made me more concerned for Kurt. Very strange. Well, it occurred to me that there must be more of Kurt's medicine somewhere in the apartment. I spent a couple minutes searching, but if there was any, I couldn't find it. Maybe he brought it with him? Alright. Chest of drawers? It had been quite literally turned inside out. Had the man in Snyder's apartment been a burglar or something else? Okay. The key under the table matched Kurt's exactly. If it really was Mrs. Snyder's key. Address book? Let's look at it again. If I can get a chance to go through her address book, it might be okay. We already read that. I wonder if the police would let me borrow. Why don't you just look through it right now? There was a post-it with something written on it stuck to the receiver. Motley Crew, and a phone number. The handwriting was the same as the handwriting on Kurt's bag. It had to be Miss Snyder's. I wrote down the number. I had a feeling it would come in handy later. I didn't think I was going to find much else.
I let out a sigh as I looked over the room one final time. Suddenly, the intercom crackled to life. Who could it be? Oh, police! Before I could even react, a torrent of police officer exploded through the door. And leading them was none other than Mr. Lewis. Well, fancy meeting you here, ma'am. Mr. Lewis seemed a little surprised to find me in his crime scene, but in no time he was issuing orders to his men like I wasn't there. They didn't waste any time getting right to work. Talk. It's surprising that they would respond in such a way, with so many police officers busting onto the scene. What happened, Mr. Lewis? I thought you were working on another case right now. Something about a purse? Well, we're a little short on manpower at the moment, so I'm pulling double duty. So this is the kid's apartment, huh? I thought as much. You came here looking for Kyla Snyder? Yes. Where's Jake? He hasn't come back to the office yet. He's useless when we need him. Well, I wouldn't say that. He's got a case of his own, you know. Well, I need to ask you a couple questions. It's just my job, ma'am, nothing personal. Okay, let's do this. I did my best to describe the man I'd seen when I arrived, and what had happened when I tried to call Mrs. Snyder. I see. There must be some connection between the man and Miss Snyder. He must know her or have her somewhere because he had access to the keys. Looks like he's got her keys in her cell phone. Yes. Before I could ask Mr. Lewis another question, one of the forensics officers called out to him. Looks like those eggheads found something. I'll be right back. Mr. Lewis picked his way across the rubble to the other side of the room. I couldn't help but wonder if Mrs. Snyder was somewhere with the man I'd seen right now. Or she might. No, I had to stay positive. Worrying about the worst wasn't going to help anyone. All right. Inspect. Mr. Lewis. He was listening to forensics officers speak in hushed tones. Had they found something? Did they know what the man had been looking for? Hey, sorry for keeping you waiting. The furrows in Mr. Lewis's forehead told me that whatever news he had probably wasn't good. Okay. I was talking with the forensics report. So what's going on? Have you found out about anything? It looks like he didn't even touch the valuables. Ash, we did it. After what we did to this room, there's no way he'd just miss him. I didn't think this fellow was just a thief. Are you saying that he might have been looking for something in here? Like medicine, perhaps? What did you mean? Oh no, it's just a guess. But why else would a man do something like this? You said yourself he wasn't after the valuables. Perhaps he was after something else? But that's just a guess, really. I see. You're not his assistant for nothing. Good guess. Mr. Lewis seemed impressed and a little surprised. We've taken fingerprints, but there's nothing conclusive yet. We've identified Mrs. Snyder's, the kids, and yours. It'll be a while before we can tell if the thief left anything behind. Address book. Mr. Lewis, I have a favor to ask. Well, I'll do my best, but I'm a police officer first. Even for one of King's friends, I can only do so much. Oh, of course. Could I possibly borrow Mrs. Snyder's address book? You fixing to go around interviewing her friends? Yes. Well, I think I can take care of that. Are you sure? I'd be happy to, but in exchange, there'll be no borrowing, all right? I see. If I find anything, I'll let you know, I promise. Yeah, I didn't think the police would let her borrow something like that. Yes, please. Have you found any pictures of Mrs. Snyder? I didn't see any when I got here. Pictures? Yeah, you're right. We haven't found any pictures of Mrs. Snyder. No pictures of Kurt's mom. What was going on? Well, to be honest with you, I find it kind of weird when I see pictures of people in their own homes, like of themselves. It's kind of weird to have a picture of yourself. Unless it's like maybe a family portrait or something. Well, this is as much I can tell you right now. I'm going to see if I can get a little out of some of the people in the neighborhood. Mr. Lewis, if you get any information on Mrs. Snyder, I know, you want to know about her, right? I don't mean to be rude, man, but are you really going to take this on by yourself? Well, of course not, because I have you too. Of course. Kurt doesn't have anyone else right now. I'm going to do as much as I can. Hopefully Mr. Hunter can help when he finally gets back. Oh boy. Look, you be careful, alright? Something's fishy here. There's something else going on, and I just ain't figured out what it is yet. Of course, I'll be careful. I've been in worse scrapes than this before. I'm having a really hard time reading today, I don't know why. I'm still sort of worried. Ah, well, if you ain't worried, I suppose I shouldn't be either. Maybe I'm distracted, I don't know. There's a lot going on in the world today. So how's it going? Is that little boy doing fine? What's the matter? He's that much of a pain? I could still... No, it's not that. We're doing fine, he's great. He just pissed all over the floor. Alright then, you probably should be heading back to the office soon before the dog and the boy pisses everywhere. Kids get lonely easy. Yes, I should. Alright, let's move. I said goodbye to Mr. Lewis and stepped through the door. As I stared at the door, I could feel sweat trickle down my neck between my shoulder blades. It wasn't just a scorching midday sun that was making me sweat. For a moment, I wondered if Mr. Hunter had come back to the office yet. I had to admit I would have liked to talk to him a little. There's no denying he was more experienced at this than I was. Alright, let's move to the office again, I guess. I want to know what that pink icon is. It's weird. I'd seen enough. I decided it was time to head back to the office. Welcome back, sis. I felt bad leaving him alone in the office, especially for so long. But it looked like he'd done alright for himself. Hi, Kurt. I'm sorry I'm late. Did anything happen while I was out? Nope. I just play with Lenny all the time. Oh, that sounds like fun. Mr. Hunter still wasn't back. Alright. Let's talk to Kurt about maybe the medicine? Yeah, I can. Kurt, are you on some kind of medication? Huh? You've been taking medicine for a long time, haven't you? Yeah. Do you have it with you right now? Uh-huh. Is it in your bag? You can't see it. It's my bag. You can't have it. You can't look inside. Why not? You wouldn't like me anymore. Kurt, that's silly. Of course I'll still like you. No, you won't. You're lying. Why do you think I'm lying? Because after he saw that was in there, my dad didn't like me anymore. Huh? How come I have a feeling that he has a misconception of his father? No medicine would ever make me not love my daughter anymore. So, I don't want you to look inside. Kurt. What is your medicine for? Please tell me, Kurt. It's for a cold. I had a cold before, but I'm fine now. Was that really why he'd been on medication for years? A cold? It seemed very unlikely. Are you sure it's a cold? You're not coughing. I told you I'm fine now. Please don't worry about me, sis. You're not feeling sick at all? Yeah, if you say so. He said he was feeling fine, but he was obviously lying. If the situation had been so serious, it would have been kind of cute. Does he know who Motley is? Kurt, do you know what Motley is? Yeah, Nicky. Huh? You mean the gentleman who works with your mother? Yeah, Motley is the name of the place my mom works for. I was finally getting some leads. The phone number I was holding just might be the keys to finding Mrs. Snyder. Alright, Kayla's picture. A picture of my mom? No, there aren't any. Mom hid them all. Oh, how come? Because Dad is in them too? I cry sometimes when I see Dad's picture. I realized I probably shouldn't ask him about that. Thanks for the keys, Kurt. You're very helpful. Sure, you're welcome. I handed Kurt's keys back to him. By the way, the key chain attached to your keys. Does your mom have one like it? Uh-huh, they're matching keychains. What's the matter, sis? No, it's nothing. That meant the keys I'd seen earlier had to have been Mrs. Snyder's. That's weird. Kurt, you can just say no if you don't want to, but Have you ever seen a man who looks like this? Maybe he's one of your friends? As I spoke, I drew a quick sketch of the man I'd seen at the apartment. No, I've never seen him. He looks like a bad person. No way he's Mom's friend. Right. Kurt had told me quite a bit. There was a lot I needed to check out, but first things first. I decided my best bet would be to call Motley. Alright, let's make a call here. I dialed the number Kurt had given me for Motley. Motley? How may I help you? Hello, my name is Julia Marks. I'm calling about one of your employees, Mrs. Kayla Snyder. Kayla? Yes. Excuse me, but are you Mr. Nicky? Yeah, that's me. I had a feeling that this wasn't his real name. So what about her? Yes, actually, I did my best to explain to him what was going on. Right, okay, I get it. I've been worried about Kayla too. Just let me know what I can do. I'd be happy to help you in any way I can. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Don't worry about it. Oh, I'll be with you in a sec. Can you hold on a moment? I just got a customer. I'll be right back. I wonder what kind of business she's in. It sounded like he was pretty busy. I realized I might have called him at a bad time. A few minutes later, Nicky was back. Sorry, I didn't mean to keep you waiting this long. Look, this isn't exactly the best time to talk. Could I call you back later, like, say tomorrow? Tomorrow? I couldn't wait that long. If I didn't figure out where Mrs. Snyder was quickly, excuse me, but what kind of a business is Motley, if you don't mind me asking? Huh, you don't know? It's a beauty salon. Oh, well, he was right. Once he was with a customer, he'd be busy for a while. What was I going to do? Appointment. Alright then, I'd like to make an appointment for today. Huh? I'd like to get a haircut. Sure, you can make an appointment. Well, why not? I guess as long as you're my customer, I can talk to you for as long as you want. Oh, good. What would be a good time? Oh, how about 2 hours from now? Here, let me give you our address. I scribbled down the address and read it back to him to double check. It looked like Motley. It was over in West Suspicio, near West Suspicio Station. Alright, sounds like you got it. Yes, thank you. I'll see you in 2 hours. I thanked Nicky and hung up the phone. 2 hours. I had a little time left before I needed to be at Motley. Are you going out, sis? No, I'm not. Well, not for a few hours at least. Really? Can you play with Lenny and me? Of course, Kurt. What do you want to do? I want to go for a walk. Let's take Lenny for a walk. Lenny wants to go too. Well, Lenny looks awfully tired, Kurt. That's just because he wants to go for a walk. Come on, sis. Let's go for a walk. Please. Well, cheese eater. Go for a walk. Well, yeah, we're going for a walk. Let's go get ready, Lenny. Kurt ran over to Lenny and started tugging on his collar. Don't get too excited, Kurt. You're scaring Lenny. Oops, sorry, Lenny. Did I scare you? Kurt seemed fine. I tried to tell myself I was just worrying too much. Alright, I guess, let's move. Let's go to, Central Park. Alright, Kurt. Ready to go to the park? Yay, let's go. Are you ready, Lenny? It's time to go. Hand in hand, we walked off towards the park. The park was full of children enjoying their summer vacation. It's awfully sunny out here. I should have brought a hat. Hey, sis, can I go over there with Lenny? Sure. Don't go too far, though. Okay. Well, let's inspect Kurt. Awesome. Come on, Lenny. Let's go over there. Watch Kurt as he ran in circles around me, letting Lenny trying his best to keep up. Whoa, look at those trees. Follow me, Lenny. Lenny walked off after Kurt with a small, fragile gait of a tired old dog. He'd been getting pushed around by Kurt all day, but he seemed to have become rather attached to the boy. They'd become quite a pair. Lenny? From time to time, I saw him sniff around in the grass, like he was looking for something, like an area to piss. Old habits die hard for a police dog, I suppose. What if he found evidence from a case? Well, let's take a look around. There are families all over the park. Only in summer could you see that many kids in Central Park. I love the sound of this music. I'm sorry to bust in with that, but I don't know, it's just so chill. It just reminds me of a really just
special time in video games when all music was sort of like this, really just jazzy. Music today doesn't have that feeling. Let's look at Lenny. There are families all over the park. Okay. Kurt? Kurt was running around the park laughing, not a care in the world. But as I watched, he began to slow down, and before long he was standing still, looking concerned. Kurt, is something the matter? Sis, He looked up at me, and I realized he turned pale, and beads of sweat were forming on his forehead. Kurt, what's the matter? Are you feeling sick? No, it's not that. I just need to go to the bathroom. Bathroom? Well, at least he wasn't sick, but I couldn't see any bathrooms. It could be on a tree, dude. I can't hold it anymore. I'll just go here. Hold on. But it was too late. Oh my. I'm sorry, sis. No, it's alright, Kurt. You've already started, so just, finish up. Oh, damn. I'm done now. I really hope it was a number... I don't know what it was. Was it number 2? Did you get your pants, dirty? A little bit. Alright, well, we'll just have to buy you some new ones on the way home then, won't we? I gave him a smile and ruffled his hair, and his smile finally came back. Thanks, sis. You're just like my mom. Oh my, Kurt. How nice of you. It's an honor to hear that. He gave me another shy smile as he walked off. With shit in his pants. Alright. So I guess we leave? How about around? There's smell. Okay. I guess we have to move back. I couldn't very leave Kurt and Lenny behind. Alright, so I guess we're calling Kurt. I know it's still kind of early, but would you like to go home? I get shit in my pants. I was getting tired anyway. Huh? I wonder where Lenny went. Lenny, where are you? Maybe he had wandered off somewhere. Maybe not. I wonder where Lenny is. The park was big. If Lenny had run off, it'd be hard to find him. This is why you should have a leash on your dog. Just as I was starting to worry, I spotted a familiar pair of brown ears. Lenny! What's wrong, Lenny? It wasn't long before he was bounding towards us across the park. Lenny's got something in his mouth. He does, doesn't he? What has he got there, Lenny? The thing Lenny had in his mouth was an angular piece of wood. The piece of wood was covered in mud, probably because of the rain the previous night. Wow, where did you find that, Lenny? Can I have it? Lenny seemed to understand what Kurt was saying, and quietly dropped the piece of wood into Kurt's hand. Thanks, Lenny. Hey, sis, can I take this back to the office? Well, if you clean it up, I suppose you can. Can I ask what you're planning to do with it? I'll play with it. Look, see, it kind of looks like a horse. A horse? Dumb kid. Well, that was certainly a unique way of looking at it. Huh. There was a piece of paper on the ground. Lenny must have picked it up with the wood. It said tree. I couldn't figure out what it meant. That is actually a hint for one of the passwords in this game. It's a password system that you can enter in words and it'll open up something new. But you do that from the main menu. Alright. Let's go back to the office and pick up that kid a clean pair of shorts. Well, now that we're all together again, I think it's time we went back home. Okay. We took our time walking back to the office. We're back. Oh, it's so cool in here, isn't it, Lenny? Kurt wasn't the only one who was relieved to be in and out of the heat. Lenny's tongue had been hanging out for the last couple blocks. Police dog or not, he was still getting old. What did I want to do? I guess it would be time to go to Motley, huh? It was time for me to head over to Motley. Kurt was. I glanced down at Kurt, who was lying on the floor with Lenny. The poor dog boy looked exhausted. Kurt, there's a bed in the next room if you'd like to rest. I'm fine, sis. I want to be with Lenny. Right, Lenny? Lenny looked at Kurt and coughed. Alright then. I decided it was the best to just let them rest for the time being. I'm going to head out again, but I'll be back soon. Are you and Lenny going to be okay here? Yep, see you later, sis. What has this kid been eating? Dog food? I said goodbye to Kurt and left the office. Salon Motley was in one of the older buildings in the area. Well, hello there. Oh wow, this guy looks rad. As I stepped into the salon, a man stepped out from behind the counter.
You must be the lady who called earlier. Miss Marks? Yeah, I am. You must be Mr. Nicky. Oh, please, darling. Drop the mister. We're all friends here. Sure. You look like some kind of 80s rock star. What do I want to do? Talk? Nicky? Alright, I'd like to get a haircut. Are you sure, darling? You got a nice little innocent secretary thing going on already. Yes, I'm sure. I was gonna get a haircut soon anyway. Now's as good a time as any. Girl, any time is a good time to do something nice for yourself. What are we gonna do with you? Something short? Yes, it is the summer, isn't it, sweetheart? How about something short? Sure, well, Oh, don't you worry. Nicky's gonna make you fabulous. It was with slight trepidation that I sat down in the chair. But this was it. I was finally going to learn about Mrs. Snyder from someone who knew her personally. Well, other than Kurt. Nicky. Mrs. Snyder. You know, I haven't seen her since yesterday. What has that girl got herself into? Has she ever done this before? Kayla's a real straight arrow. She's always lets us know if she'll be late or has to go away for a while. But you weren't told anything about the day before yesterday? Nope, nothing at all, darling. A man. Have you noticed a strange man stalking her lately? Strange man? No, I don't think so, darling. She never mentioned anybody either. Is that right? Kurt. Kurt's disease? Well, sweetheart, I don't really know much, but I heard it was something pretty serious. Something serious. Oh my. Calm down, darling. You don't want me to make a mistake, do you? I'm sorry. I don't know exactly what his disease is. Poor Kayla's been through quite a bit because of it. Kurt, I'd known he hadn't been telling me the truth, but... There you go, sweetheart. All done. You look amazing. Oh, she does look pretty good with short hair. Oh. I've been so engrossed in asking about Mrs. Snyder, I completely forgot about the haircut. Darling, you look incredible. Oh, she does look good with short hair. Thank you. It looks good. You'd actually done quite a good job. It's my job to make you beautiful, darling. I'm so glad you like it. Don't you feel refreshed, too? I gave him a smile. It did feel pretty good. It's fitting on her. I guess, we can leave. Let's go back to the detective agency. Thank you so much for everything. Drop by and see us again, darling. You know, I think I will. How much do I owe you? Oh, don't you worry about that, sweetheart. You trusted a stranger with that beautiful hair of yours. Just so you can help poor Kayla. Couldn't sleep at night if I tried to take advantage of a girl like you. But you just take good care of Kurt, darling. And let me know if I can do anything to help. Of course. Thank you again, Nicky. I'm counting on you, darling. See, all Nicks. They're all good peeps. If you got the name Nick, you're awesome. I stepped out of Motley and into the sweltering, auspicious sunlight. The office was quiet. Was Kurt? No, Kurt and Lenny were just taking a nap together. All right. Oh, let's take a look at his bag, because he's sleeping. I knew he'd never show it to me voluntarily, but Kurt was fast asleep. I wanted to know what was inside the bag. What's in the bag? I'm sorry, Kurt. I tried to convince myself I was doing the right thing as I picked through Kurt's bag. Lenny, please pretend you didn't see this. Lenny snorted, rolled over, and went back to sleep. Thanks. The only things in the bag were Kurt's keys and his medicine. I took the medicine. All right, let's inspect the medicine. Return. Oh. There we go. Found it in Kurt's bag. I was curious what kind of illness Kurt had. I took a close look at the medicine. There were a number of medical terms like on the bottle, but nothing that told me what was wrong with Kurt. The medicine couldn't tell me anything. Just as I was about to give up, I remembered the name of the hospital that was written on the medicine. Wisteria Hospital. Maybe I should be able to find something there. Okay. Oh, well, luckily it's really close. I left the office as quietly as I could and taking care to keep Kurt from waking up. It was early afternoon and the sun was beating down as they started towards the hospital. I was determined to find the truth. I'd arrived in the lobby of Wisteria Hospital.
All right. A lot of busy work.
I was hoping to get a chance to talk to Kurt's doctor. There was a reception desk a short distance from the door, and I figured that would be a good place to start. There weren't too many patients in the lobby,
and I was losing my patience. Alright, let's talk to the receptionist.
I'd asked the receptionist if I could see Kurt's doctor. Before long, I noticed a female nurse walking towards me.
Hello, nurse. Alright, talk. Nurse?
Unfortunately, the doctor can't see you right now. But if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I'm Kurt's nurse. Really? What a relief. Thank you.
I don't think they're really going to tell you anything because of the patient confidentiality. I was finally going to learn something about Kurt's condition. The condition of my condition is Kurt's disease.
Kurt's disease. I'm sorry, that's confidential. I'm afraid I can't discuss that with someone outside of his family.
Well, I hadn't been expecting it to be that easy. Still, it would have been nice.
Alright. Please, you don't understand. Kurt's mother has disappeared. I may not be related to him, but I'm all he has right now.
A distraught woman can soften even the hardest of hearts.
Well, I guess, but look, you didn't hear this from me.
Jackpot.
Kurt was born with a serious heart condition. A heart condition? Yes, a very rare one, in fact. We only discovered it about a year ago. He needs surgery to correct the condition, but... So his condition can be treated with surgery? Probably. But the only procedure that claims to be able to correct the condition hasn't been approved in the U.S.
Then, this reminds me of the first case.
He would have to go to a foreign country for treatment. There are only a few medical institutions in the world that can perform this procedure, so it would cost a fortune.
Let's see if she knows anything about the medicine. Okay. Talk. How about the surgery? Nurse. Again?
The surgery is expensive enough, but once you factor in the travel cost, medicine, outpatient care, family accommodations, it's beyond the resources to most people. The surgery... Okay. He seems fine. Is he still... He's fine for as long as he doesn't strain himself. But that's only for now. His heart can't keep up with his physical growth. Eventually... Oh no, do you know how much longer he has? A year at most. No.
Can we look at the medicine now?
Show. I hand the medicine to the nurse. Could you tell me what these are? There are two different treatments here. They're for managing his condition. He should take one with every meal. And those should only be used in the event that he suffers an attack. An attack? Sometimes Kurt's condition can cause him to experience symptoms similar to cardiac arrest. Placing one of these tablets under his tongue and keeping him calm should alleviate the symptoms. Poor Kurt. That sounds very serious. Does he have these attacks often? No, they're fairly rare, but they're almost impossible to predict. Miss Snyder makes sure Kurt keeps the tablets with him at all times. But I'd taken his medicine with me. What if he was having an attack while I was at the hospital? Is something the matter? You seem rather pale, ma'am. Excuse me, but I have to get going. I broke into a full-out run through the halls of the hospital. One of those attacks could kill Kurt. He was alone in the office, and I had his medicine. I had been such a fool. I had to get back to the office as quickly as possible. I caught a taxi from the hospital, but its AC was on the fritz, and by the time I got back to the office, I was drenched in sweat. Kurt? Oh, hi there, dollface. Good timing. Sir, I didn't know you were back. Yeah, I just got in a few minutes ago. Anyway, it seems an emergency. There was a boy lying on the floor. I'm going to call an ambulance. You. Wait, sir, I can explain. Don't call the ambulance just yet. All right. What in blazes is going on around here?
Yeah. All right. Medicine. Let's get this medicine in that kid's mouth.
Sir, before you call an ambulance, please give this to Kurt. Medicine? Will this make him better? It should. You'll need to put one under his tongue. I'm alright. Guess we should go to it then. I nodded and followed Mr. Hunter over to Kurt. He was lying down on the sofa. Kurt. Hi, sis. He was doing his best, but the poor guy was in a lot of pain. His voice was faint. His voice was faint and his face was pale. We didn't have much time. Alright, let's do this. Let's give it. Kurt, open your mouth for me. You'll feel better in a second. He did the best he could, but he was barely even conscious. Before long, his body was starting to relax and color began to return to his face. I apologized to him once again and again, but it never seemed like enough. He'd almost died. Well, it looks like that's over. Mr. Hunter let out a sigh of relief, and as I turned around, I could see he was already digging for a cigarette. He was a little more shaken than he wanted to let on. I'm so sorry for putting you through that, sir. Yeah, it's not every day I come home to a sick kid freaking out on my floor. Think maybe you can explain to me why today was different? Alright. First time I'm ever explaining anything to Mr. Hunter. I explained in detail everything that had happened since I'd met Kurt. Sounds like you've had quite a day there, babe. Mr. Hunter's quite good at many things, but being comforting is generally not one of them. Yeah, I have a hard time comforting people too. You've been through a lot here. Don't worry, sir. There was nothing I couldn't handle. Although I do wish I could have talked to you about it sooner. Yeah, well, you know, cases and all. He might have been the sweetest guy, but at least he was trying. Don't worry about it, sir. I think we'll be able to handle the rest of this on my own, but do you think we might be able to let Kurt stay here in the office for a while? Well, I guess that'd probably be the best. Can't have the little guy going back to an empty apartment, can we? Oh, good. Thank you, sir. It was like a weight had been lifted from my chest. Mr. Hunter couldn't hide the fact that he was less than thrilled at the prospect of kid sharing his house with a kid, but at least he agreed to let Kurt stay. Anything unusual? Sir, did you notice anything unusual? Yeah, it looks great on you. I'm sorry? Your haircut. Were you trying to get me to notice your new haircut? Oh, no. Thank you for noticing, though. Sure. Well, there was an unexpected bonus. Anything strange? So, did anything in my story strike you as strange? Let's see. There's got to be something up with that fellow you saw at the apartment. I bet the farm he's got something to do with the girl's disappearance. He probably had some kind of contact with her before she went missing. Yes. I'm also pretty sure he must have acted alone. Why would you say that, sir? Well, if he had a partner, they'd been watching the room while he went in. Based on what you told me, that didn't happen. I see. What's the case you're working on now, sir? Oh, right. Mr. Hunter explained the theft at the Hambling residence. I see. Well, I'm sorry I wasn't there to help, sir. Don't sweat it, babe. This case is small potatoes. I think I can handle it myself. As soon as I get my hands on the culprit, it'll be over. I get the feeling it's not quite that simple, sir. Guess I can't get anything past you, babe. You're right. I have a feeling it's going to get pretty hairy. Sis. Kurt, you're up. Kurt was still a little wobbly as he walked up to me. Lenny walked next to him. Are you feeling all right? You're not in pain? No, I'm feeling better. Good. I'm sorry that I left you alone, Kurt. It's okay. I'm just glad that you're back.
Well, talk to Kurt. I think this portion of the episode is almost over, so I just want to keep going. Kurt, do you remember anything about what happened after you got sick?
No, not really. I kind of remember seeing that man over there, but... Oh.
Then he didn't remember that I'd given him his medicine?
Sis, don't worry about me, okay? I was just feeling a little dizzy before, okay? So, I'm fine. That's never happened to me before, but I'm fine now, so please don't worry.
Kurt, why? I didn't understand. Why was he trying so hard to hide the truth from me?
Kurt, I need you to tell me the truth about your sickness, about what's wrong with your heart. My heart? Nothing, I'm not sick.
Kurt, I knew he thought he was doing the right thing, but it broke my heart every time. Poor guy needed to trust me. I couldn't let him keep lying. I had to show him that I already knew, and I had 2 pieces of evidence that would help me just that. The first one was the nurse's story, and another one was the medicine bag. You already knew, didn't you, sis? Yes, Kurt, I'm so sorry. I looked in your bag without asking. Because of me, you got really sick. No, it's my fault because I lied to you. I'm sorry that I lied to you, sis. Kurt, you don't like me anymore? Of course I like you. What makes you think that? Really? You don't hate me? You're not going to go away? Of course not. I would never do that. Please, no more lies. Will you promise me not to lie anymore? I want you to tell me right away if you start feeling sick. Okay, I will. Promise? Uh-huh. I'll never lie to you again. Pinky promise. Thank you. You're a good kid, Kurt. Sis, I like you a lot. The dam finally broke, and all the emotion Kurt had kept bottled up for the last few days came pouring out. I put my arms around him as he sobbed, tears streaming down his face. The poor guy had been through a lot, been through so much. I stroked his hair and held him until his tears faded away. Is Kurt asleep? Yes, sound asleep. Finally. I mean, that's good to hear. Little guy needs some rest. Sleep. Just as I was opening my mouth to reprimand Hunter, Mr. Hunter, the phone rang. I'll get back to you in a moment, sir. Picked up the phone. Hello, this is Detective Agency. How may I help you? Hello, is this Julia? Oh, it's Mr. Lewis. How nice to hear from you. How'd it go? Yes? I told Mr. Lewis what I'd heard at Motley. You think your coworkers might have something, but you got bupkis? Fortunately, yes. Did you have any more luck? I didn't find anything in the directory, but I did get a lead interviewing around the neighborhood. Really? Don't get your hopes up, darling. It's probably a whole lot of nothing. Of course, Mr. Lewis. But please, what did you hear? The day before yesterday, one of her neighbors saw Kayla Snyder outside her apartment. The neighbor didn't notice anything strange about them that morning, but it looked like Kayla was headed in the opposite direction from a regular commute. Opposite? Yeah, and it was around the time when she usually goes to work. Of course, the neighbor also said it wasn't completely out of the ordinary for Kayla to be heading out that way. So like I said, probably a whole lot of nothing, but maybe you can make sense out of it. Thank you, I appreciate your help, Mr. Lewis. It wasn't much, but Mr. Lewis had given me something to think about. If I was lucky, I might just get a lead I needed. Alright. I repeated what Mr. Lewis had told me earlier. What do you think, sir? I wonder where Kayla Snyder was headed that morning. You're going to have to figure that out where she went that day. That's going to be hard. I've almost nothing to go on. Yeah, but are you sure your friend at Motley doesn't know a little more than he's letting on? Well, come on, babe, think about it. Go over her story again. See anything that doesn't fit? Now you're on the trolley. You put a little heat on him, and I bet he'll spill the beans before you know it. Thank you, sir. I guess that's why they pay you the big bucks. It's getting pretty late. What do you say we call for a day and get back to work tomorrow? After all, resting is an important part of any investigation. Of course, sir. As soon as I wrap things up with the ambulance, I'll give you a hand. How come I have a feeling these two cases are connected somehow? So try not to take any wooden nickels, alright, babe? Of course, sir. I'll be wary around any and all change. I spent the night at the office, not wanting to leave Kurt. As the sun began to stream in the window the next morning, I woke to Kurt's smiling face. Morning, sis. Alright, is this almost, it? His adore the night before seemed to be entirely forgotten. He looked as healthy as any other child his age. Good morning, Kurt. Did you sleep well? Uh-huh. It was really nice of Mr. Hunter to sleep on the couch. The bed was really nice. I hope he didn't mind sleeping on the couch. Don't worry about Kurt. To be honest with you, Mr. Hunter usually sleeps on the couch anyway. He's too lazy to go to bed most of the time. I'd hope I might get a rise out of Mr. Hunter, but the only sound coming from the living room was the snoring. The man slept like a log. Alright, well, since I don't know how much longer this episode will take to get to the next one, I'll call it here. I'm pretty sure we're going to get like chapter 3 in a second anyway. But I hope you guys are enjoying. Sorry, today I seemed a little distracted. Not that my commentary is usually amazing, but I don't know. Like I said, a lot on my mind. But I hope you guys are enjoying. I certainly am. If you are, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe if you haven't done already, because it makes me feel good. And make sure you have a good night. Good night.